What's up, everybody? We are reality roommates. Now, if you guys didn't notice, maybe you guys have noticed, but the last episode we did not review because of technical difficulties. A whole bunch of mishaps
Yeah,
happened. But we are back on track with this episode 28. I believe it is. Episode 28.
yeah,
Yes? Okay.
28, 28.
Episode 28, there's a lot to discuss. If you guys been waiting for our episodes, man, let's get right into it. We're not even going to waste any time, but I'm here with my co host first.
What's good, reality roommates? It's your boy Willie.
What's going on? It's your boy IV. Happy to be here. Let's get it.
Yes,
Let's get it,
sir.
man.
Now let's get right into the episode. Now, the last episode that we did miss, Nicole ended up going home. It was definitely a shocker that we did not expect. Felicia was the one who survived the block after her mishap, some would say, or her survival toss, which was outing Corey. I don't think that was the one that saved her, but she ended up getting saved nonetheless. And before Nicole left, she did say that Bowie, Jane, America, and Corey are all working together and using Felicia to their dirty bids and a couple other people. And so that leads into this episode where Bowie Jane actually wins the HOH versus
Oof.
obviously the rest of the house, but the last two were her and Felicia. And Bowie Jane even said in this episode that she was trying to throw this competition just like how she threw the other comps, the wall competition that Jared won. She it was clear that she threw that. But point is Bowie Jane
Mm-hmm.
wins the HOH, and now this episode was just everyone competing to get inside Bowie Jane's head and
Everybody,
persuade her
man.
to make a decision that benefits themselves, but not let her know that, obviously. But yeah, so how do you guys feel about overall Bowie Jane winning this HOH competition? If you ask me, I think I really want to see Felicia win this one. I thought Felicia was going to win this one. I thought she was going to, if Felicia won
Same.
straight from coming off the block, shake the house up a little bit. But Bowie Jane won, so I thought it was like, man, this season's gonna be, or not this season, this episode, this week is gonna be like a big guessing game with Bowie Jane, which is also not a bad thing. But what do you guys think? Ivan, we'll start with you.
Bowie Jane winning was super unexpected. I know the type of game she's been playing as far as laying low on purpose, throwing comps, which is actually very ingenious on her part because she has no enemies in this game. So it's not really opportune for her to win HOH. So I know she was probably kicking herself. Um, in those types of comps, it's always best if you're throwing it to go high, not low. But she must have missed the memo because she put 23 down first. Crazy answer. Both of them had crazy answers, to be honest, which was kind of hilarious to watch. But yeah, I was really, really rooting for Miss Felicia to take that comp because I feel like Miss Felicia would have definitely made some brilliant choices with her noms as far as Corey in America or Cameron or some sort of combination of those three. But yeah, we got a Bowie Jane HOH, and yeah, this is going to be probably one of the weirdest weeks as far as that
Weirdest, man.
can give you. This is one of the weirdest weeks the whole season.
Yeah.
I think.
100%.
So
She's just a big question mark. Hasn't shown
Hasn't
much
shown much
grit.
of
Much,
anything, man.
yeah, hasn't shown that she's trying to play a game. But Willie, what do you think?
Speaking of not playing the game, the fact that she was going into it trying to throw it, or yeah, the fact that she was trying to throw it is crazy. You're in Big Brother. The fact that she doesn't have a resume and she wants to throw a comp, like that doesn't really make sense to me. Since you haven't won a comp, you should be trying to build that resume. That should be okay. I gotta win this to build my resume. Because when she's in that final two, when she's in those two final seats, what are they like? What's the reason for the house guests and the jury to pick her to win? Like, come on. The fact that she wasn't in that mindset of yo, I gotta win this competition is crazy. I honestly feel like Felicia would be a lot better to see because we kind of know she's trying to go for the big dogs. Bowie, she's just trying to like please everybody. But if it was somebody like Felicia winning, man, we know she's going for the top dog. So I would have much rather seen Felicia win.
Yes.
I got to disagree for a slight second there. Now, though I do completely agree with the fact that Felicia would have been a better HOH for our viewing capacity, I do think it's actually smart for Bowie Jane to have thrown as many comps as she has been. I think this is actually one of the worst things to happen to her game is her winning HOH this week I feel like there probably could have been a later point in time that she could win HOH, take out a big person, and slide back into the background and try to make it to final 3, final 2, etc.
Making it that far with not a deep resume doesn't really like. It's kind of setting herself up for failure. Like, yeah, you made it that far, but your resume is not really showing anything.
It's true, but at the same time, she has not hit that block. She has made no enemies. She might be looking at a bunch of friends on that jury, depending on who she's sitting next to. Let's say, for instance, she made it to the end with a guy like Cameron. They might just throw Bowie Jane to victory.
That's crazy. I don't see that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I completely disagree with you there. I think Bowie Jane needs to up her resume. At this point, even if she does do something drastic, there's nothing she can do to save her game. She plays it way too safe. She's way too scared. Even if she's not scared, which she's claimed multiple times, the way she's acting within the game is not gonna propel her to a win at all. 0% chance. Everyone else has played a way better game. Everyone else has been in arguments, has been trying, like they're showing effort to winning this game. She has shown at least zero effort. Taylor at least showed more effort. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Taylor floated her way. Like, this is a clear float. So she has no argument to win this game. She has a 0% chance of winning this game, and that's simply because she doesn't want to play it. What are you doing? She doesn't want to play it.
Yeah, she doesn't even have her hands in everything.
Even now with who she nominated, she doesn't want to play it, which we will get into. But
maybe she's playing for $75K.
True. Oh, house guest.
I don't think she's playing
for
any money. I think she's playing for the simple enjoyment of being inside the house, which will get her some type of money. But either way, I think it's crazy how she's really not even trying. But let's get into all the persuasions that people were really trying to push on to Bowie Jane to nominate. That was really the beef of this episode, was everyone trying to get and infiltrate into Bowie Jane's head because she's a big question mark. So let's talk about the different persuasions that people were doing and which two duos and people overall were trying to persuade Bowie Jane. First, let's start with Matt and Jag, right? To me, Matt and Jag, the Minutemen, I like how whenever they're in conversations, they would glance at each other and then they talk in the diary room and say, I don't want to do this. This is not great for the Minutemen. You could tell that they're solid too. And they were really trying to aim for Cameron, which I thought was pretty dumb because, they have the fugitives. I would like to see them
Agreed.
I would like to see them take Cameron and actually honor that. Even though he's a threat, I think they still have a chance. Matt still has a chance against Cameron. Yeah, Cameron's a beast, but Matt still has a chance. Jag still has a chance. I say take him out final 5, final 6.
Yeah, bro.
But right now it's a little too early. So how do you guys feel about them targeting Cameron?
I don't like it at all. Like, I feel like they're not thinking long term. Cameron's a big threat in the house. Keeping him keeps the eyes off them. Like, it doesn't make sense why they're trying to get rid of Cameron, especially since Cameron's shown loyalty, which we know he doesn't. But like prior to this week, he doesn't really show loyalty to people that he works with. But he showed loyalty. He got rid of Miko last week. He showed that, I'm in it with you guys. I feel like this would be a strong team that they had, but like, I don't know, man. I just don't understand why they're trying to get rid of Cameron. Cameron has their best interest. Cameron can win comps for them. It's like their motives for wanting Cameron out didn't make sense to me in this episode whatsoever.
So yeah, I've got to partially agree with Willie here. I didn't like the fact that they were going after Cam either. I feel like they kind of got lucky that Bowie Jane is who she is in this game because Cameron has had Bowie Jane's back a bit in this game, and I don't think she realizes to the severity that he has. So this is her one ally, and you're going to the lady and telling her, hey, yeah, we want your one ally out. And I don't think she peeped that. And we can talk about that further as we discuss more of the sides. But it felt like everyone was discussing her HOH without her even being in rooms.
Yeah,
which I love when walked in on them, and she's like, and Cam was like, "Oh, I didn't know one of you guys was the HOH." That was brilliant in my book because it really shows the lack of respect for Bowie Jane's game that the rest of the house has, which is a good telltale sign that, you guys were right about the fact that if she even winds up in those final 2 seats, it's going to be a very, very, very difficult um, up climb for her to actually win the game, you know. But yeah, as far as Jag and Matt goes, I understand why they want him out. I think they're looking at it from the standpoint of they don't trust Cam, and this goes back to Cam having a poor social game. This goes back to week one, and I think a lot of people forgot about this. Week one, when he has family style with Matt, Jag, Riley, etc., all these people, we have to remember, and this is something unfortunately they didn't show on the show for whatever reason, but
Mm-hmm.
Aaron is the one that ratted that big alliance out. That big 8-person or however big it was alliance of all the young people, where when the professors were made as the opposite to combat that. Cameron is the one that sold them out. It wasn't week one; it was week two because Riley was the HOH week one. But week two, he sold them out once they weren't in power, and he freaked out, so he snitched on them. Matt and Jag has not forgotten that, and unfortunately, to us, the viewers, because we're outside of the house, it makes sense to us that, yo, Cameron's actually solid. They're looking at it from the standpoint of boy who cried wolf. He's not solid. Don't trust him. And
But
I think
he,
it's going to bite them in the butt in the end because I feel like they were better off with a Cameron on your side than without. But this is their standpoint. And it goes back to Cameron's poor social game. If he didn't move that way, then he would be able to have allies trust him. Because if you guys are realizing, Cameron, besides Red, who easily turned on him, and Bowie, he has not been able to build any real allies in this game. No matter how much he swears up and down, he's going to be a soldier for that person, ride for them, etc. Nobody believes this guy. So we can't blame everybody in the house. There's got to be something about Cameron's moves that's also screwing him.
but I feel like he built the loyalty last week. He said the week before when he won the competition against Jared, he was like, "Yo, you guys work with me. Give me 1 week. Prove to you guys I could be loyal to you guys." He listened to what Matt and Jack had to say. He executed. I feel like he built enough loyalty right there. Like,
I agree that in theory, that should have sold the deal. The fact that he did not go against their wishes and put Corey up. But unfortunately, in Matt and Jack's perspective, they just looked at it as we just fooled this guy into doing what we want and kept it moving. Pumped and dumped for 1 week, which once again, I don't agree with that move at all. I felt like they were stronger together as a trio than
exactly.
just after 1 week. That's not a smart long-term viewpoint of this game, especially the way things are set up. Because what they don't realize is as the numbers dwindle in the House, voting blocks get even stronger. So that means Corey in America's voting block of 2 gets super strong as we lose people. So now if Corey in America decide to click up with a Felicia and Sari or whoever, if they decide to click up, and you're on the outs, there's literally nothing you can do. So it's better to keep that person instead of discard them.
They just, I don't know. It's not at all, man.
Well, let's get into the other 2 pairs that we're trying to convince Bowie Jane. Cameron and America, mainly Cameron, I would say. Cameron and America, they both wanted...
Or Corey.
Corey, my bad. Not Cameron, America. Corey and America, they both were going for Cameron. They're going for Cameron and Blue. Cameron and Blue to go home.
Yeah.
Blue because Cameron told Corey that Blue was going after him, and Cameron because Cameron's Cameron, and you know he's a big threat. So how do you guys feel about that? Willie, we'll start with you.
Wait, how I feel about Corey and America going after Cameron or wanting Bowie to go after Cameron?
Yeah. Cameron and Blue.
Well, from their perspective, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Cameron is the biggest comp beast in the house, so it honestly just makes the ride smoother for them to final 2. Getting Cameron out because they're confident they could beat or they can somewhat handle Matt and Jag, but somebody like Cameron, who's a loose cannon and likes to shake up the house, I mean, I'd want him out too. But I'm not a big fan of Corey in America, so obviously I don't want them to be successful. But like, it makes the most sense. He's in the way of them making it real far in the house. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Willie. For them, it makes sense from their standpoint that Cameron is a top op, especially with him contemplating putting Corey up. How many more chances are you going to get to take this guy out? The only thing is, and it goes back to that, and it's a disappointment for at this late stage of the game, Matt and Jag to be like, yeah, let's just do what Corey and them want. That they even, and what's like kind of frustrating is they even mentioned it in the DRs that, oh, they just want us to do their dirty work. Oh, they just want us to do their dirty work. And yet in the end, you still end up doing the man's dirty work by pushing Cam. You have if you are there at a point now where they're seeing the writing on the wall as far as Corey and America are being selfish players in a way where they're worried about their interests, as they should be, to be honest, because we're getting down to the end. They're worried about their interests. Who is coming after them? Let's get other people to take those people out before they even get a chance to try to take us out. And they're not even winning HOHs besides Corey's one HOH to get rid of Jared. They're not winning key HOHs to get those people out. They're just making everybody else do it for them. At this point, if Matt and Jag don't wake up and realize you have to also get these two that are in your face hanging out with you all day out, you might as well write Corey in America a check right now. Yeah. It's getting to BB levels of desperation here of like, wake up. You can't.
I don't see why they wouldn't want to split a duo. I don't see why they wouldn't want to split the duo instead of just taking one person out. It's like, yo, let's split the duo up. I don't get it.
That it could be the fact that Matt and Jag are, fairly athletic, and just off cosmetics, the way they look compared to Corey, they're looking at it from maybe a standpoint of, I could beat him in a comp, so I'm not worried about him. But what you got to realize is not all comps might be physical, or you might run into a comp where it might low-key tip the scales towards a smaller person rather than a bigger person. You know what I'm saying? I think they're thinking at it from the standpoint of like athletic jocks and not getting the fact that you're not guaranteed to get a physical comp in that long stretch that benefits you. Mm-hmm. Corey might start getting comps that work out his way, or worse, America wins a comp, or worse, they continue to do their double dealings, which Matt and Jag know they are doing, and they end up clicking up with, let's say, a Cirie and Felicia, or Bowie Jane gets another HOH down the stretch and decides, I'll work with Corey in America. You got to wake up. You can't do these people.
I agree with most of the points that you made. I really don't like how America is pretty much just riding the coattails off of Corey. Yeah, she's doing some dirty work, but it's just like, to me, it's just like, it's literally Corey's sailing the ship, and then like I don't know, man. She's just doing the little dirty work here and there off the coattails of Corey, and I don't like it at all. Man, she's like conniving. She's lying, obviously, but it's a part of Big Brother, so I can't really hate. But
part of the game.
Yeah. But moving on to another person that was kind of trying to get in Bowie Jane's ear is Cameron, as well as Cirie. Both of them wanted, Felicia, I believe, wanted Corey in America, and Cameron also wanted Corey in America, correct?
Yeah.
Cameron definitely wanted Corey. He wanted Corey. He didn't really mention America, but obviously I'm sure that comes with that. If you're going to nominate one, you probably should nominate both.
Yeah, and both of them wanted Corey in America, but Bowie Jane just, for some reason, wasn't going for it. I feel like Bowie Jane constantly agreed with a lot of them. Like, yeah. But then when it came down to it, her nominations was Felicia and Cirie. And to me, that bothered me a lot because it showed that she was willing just to play safe. play 100% safe, not take any chances, and it showed Bowie Jane. To me, as soon as she did that, I was like, yeah, your game is done. You have 0% chance of winning this game.
Agreed.
Now,
Thought the exact same thing.
hold on. I'm going to defend Bowie Jane a bit. I'm going to play devil's advocate a bit. Now, one, let's discuss Cam, and then I'll play devil's advocate. One, Cameron, that makes perfect sense for him to want Corey out. He had him last week. He let him slip his grasp. You got to take this dude out.
Yeah.
So obviously, Bowie is his road dog, and he figured I can convince Bowie to do this. Here's the issue. It actually does make sense in my standpoint from what I see. It does make sense for Bowie to nominate who she did at the end of this episode, Felicia and Cirie.
Yeah.
And why? We have to realize, and she even stated it, these are the only two people that she felt slighted by in this game because she hasn't been in the mix like everyone else has. Like you guys have mentioned, everyone else has had arguments, this and that. What is the only conflict Bowie Jane has had is when she felt lied to about Red's vote by Felicia and Cirie. And this is why sometimes in this game you have to, and it just wound up like this. It's not totally Cirie's fault, but you have to be careful of who you cross or work on mending those relationships in time, because that one thing from back then is what caught up to Cirie now.
Yeah.
And you got to look at as far as safe goes. We have to realize Bowie Jane before this HOH was not someone in this game who had a bunch of enemies like, let's say, a Corey, let's say a Cameron, let's say a Blue or a Cirie. There's nobody in this house prior to her being HOH this week that said, yo, we got to get Bowie out of here. Nobody was saying that. So it does not behoove Bowie Jane to jump out in front and say, yo, I'm going after Corey in America. Why? Because if you take out one, now you got the next one who might say, you know what? Like, for instance, let's say she put up Corey in America. Corey goes home. America wins HOH next week. Now, America, instead of going after Cameron or Cirie or whoever she would have gone after, let's say she wants immediate revenge because she's feeling emotional. You took out my showmans. I'm putting up Bowie Jane. All of a sudden, Bowie Jane went from what we've been calling her all game long, one of the
Loader
house, to now you're a target. Then I get it. You have to make, I get it. You have to make these moves to potentially win the game. But if we're inside of Bowie's head right now, she's looking at it as, who can I take out in this game that doesn't have many allies? That way I can slide back into the back. So she's figuring, let me get Cirie up out the paint because she no longer has Jared. She no longer has Izzy. From the house's standpoint, her relationship with Felicia is shaky. Mimi's already up out of here. So if I could get Cirie up out here next week, nobody's going to be worried about Bowie Jane. So from her standpoint, this might be the smartest nominations that she could have made. Going after an America and Corey is not the smart. This is what I want her to do, but is it smart for her game? No. And it's the same for going after. That's somebody who rocks with you. That's not smart for your game either. So she actually stood her ground and made the smartest decision for her game.
Okay, I completely disagree with that.
I agree. I ain't gonna lie. Will you disagree?
I disagree. And I'll tell you exactly
You changed
why.
my mind on that.
I'll tell you exactly why, right? Now, you make claims that, Bowie Jane did the smartest thing for her game so she could slither back into the abyss of not being recognized in the game. She could float, coast right through, maybe even make it to Final Two, boom, and turn somebody else. Either way, that is, to me, it's still a losing mentality. It's still a losing mentality because it doesn't change the outcome that she's going to lose this game. So if you're going to lose this game no matter what, you might as well start playing the game now to at least up your chances, right? I mean,
took out a Cirie, that's low-key a big move because we've seen Cirie battle through adversity and somehow still wind up good with these people when a few weeks ago everybody was like off with Cirie's head.
Now, that is a solid point.
Cirie, that's kind of a notch on her belt, especially when these people find out at the end, oh, Cirie and Jared were mom and son. They're gonna be like, oh shit, and Bowie Jane took her out.
Now that is actually a great point because I was gonna really tear you apart and tear all your points apart. But that one thing right there is a very good point. No matter what, Sari's a great player, one of the best players that we've seen in recent years. So no matter what, they're gonna look at that as a valid point. So I'm gonna do what Bowie Jane's gonna do and slide back out of this what I was gonna say because you brought up a very very valid point with Sari. I disagree with everything you said before, but that Sari point, if she does take out Sari, if she takes out Felicia, then everything you said I still disagree with. But if she takes out Sari, then yeah,
I
you
don't
have
know,
to
man. I agree with Ivan though, because like she's been playing a low key game this whole time. So from her perspective, do a kind of like just get rid of somebody like Felicia or
You have
Sari,
to build your
and then goes.
resume. You have to build your resume. You can't neglect
She's
that.
she's building, but she's building a resume by winning HOH and taking out somebody like Felicia or Sari.
She has
It's
to be able
kind
to
of
win
somewhat
HOH,
building
which
up
I
a
guess they don't
resume.
know, but no, but if she takes out Felicia, then what Ivan said is completely wrong. I disagree with. But she takes out Sari specifically. She has to take out Sari in order for what Ivan says to be like, okay, she has some type of resume, and maybe she could continue to work on it later on. But
It makes sense from her perspective. Those are the only people that done her wrong in the game. She has no enemies for real.
She has to build a resume. Her resume is absolute. She has the worst resume in the game. Taking out Court America could really supercharge herself to actually get in the game. So,
what has Blue really done?
Right.
What has Blue really done? Yeah. Does she really have the worst resume?
Blue is at least in the mix. Bowie Jane is out the mix.
But when it comes to winning, what has Blue Kim done? Yeah. Don't play on Bowie Jane like that, bro. She don't got the worst resume.
Hey,
she got the second to worst.
Definitely a valid point. But
honestly, her resume. I was about to say better than Sari, but I retract that. Never mind.
Now, what I'll say is, I feel like I would have completely agreed with you, Willis, if she would have put up Blue this week. Then I would have been like, Bowie Jane, you're giving us a nothing burger.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But let's get into spoiler segment, which Ivan and Willie are going to talk about. I don't like spoilers. Sorry, guys. You guys won't hear my points. Yes, I personally do not like spoilers, so I am not going to be here to listen to it. But you guys stick around. You hear some spoiler talk. Willie's going to come in this exact seat.
The veto was won by Jag. Mm-hmm. And they have successfully, somehow, some way, which is a shock to me, they have successfully convinced Bowie Jane to use the said veto. And this morning she nominated Cameron, the only person that actually was a real ally to Bowie Jane.
Only person, man.
She decided to nominate him for eviction. Successfully freaking manipulated the crap out of the Aussie. And yeah, I think this is going to go down as one of the, it depends on what side you're looking at it. It could be one of the most brilliant moves by other people, like for instance, Corey, Matt, Jag.
Oh, for sure. They get props for that. They get props for changing her mind and putting Cameron on the block. They get props for that.
Right. Her to put up her own ally, which everyone, including us, thought that was impossible. So props to them. And then also on the flip side, it goes down as one of the dumbest moves that you can make in this game. And I mean, I think it's actually poetic that it would come from such a nothing burger, chaotic, well, barely chaotic, just a nothing burger floater player like Bowie Jane would do such a colossal move, like get somebody who's been dominating the game as far as comps goes, Cameron out. It looks like he has no hope. I mean, he's sitting there next to Sari, and Sari, as we all know, is pretty good with the majority of the house as we speak.
Yeah.
I know things can change, but it's looking pretty set in stone here. So, Willie, what do you think?
Man, moves like this really piss me off, man. Moves like this really, really piss me off. I genuinely, I'm mad. I'm mad like Bowie. The one person that was actually looking out for you. He was looking out for you, and I believe he said it to her. And then she went to Corey in America and be like, "Can you guys believe that Cameron said, oh, he's helped me throughout this game," or something like that? It was something around those lines.
Right.
And she felt offended because of that. I don't know why she felt offended. First off, like the fact that she didn't realize, yo, I'm here this far, and the only person that's looking out for me is Cameron is crazy. Like, how do you not realize that? Like, I thought she knew that. I thought it was like, oh yeah, Cameron is the only reason why I'm like, you know what I'm saying, in the mix in some way. It doesn't make
I
sense.
thought it was obvious as well, but I think she was susceptible to groupthink. I think with everyone around her that was pushing it, those four individuals, Matt, Jag, America, and Corey, that she fell victim to groupthink and started to grow a brain and think that she was the reason why she didn't get put up on the block. When it's like, dude, like this guy Cameron has been HOH what 3 times now,
Yep.
and he has never put her up. He's included her in decision making, as far as I've seen. So this is just a wild turn of events.
There's times that Cameron could
Um,
have used Bowie as a pawn or something like that, but he didn't. He
Right.
didn't.
right.
And she still
Um,
like it's crazy.
You know what's also what could have been, and this is a weird season because in a typical season, Bowie Jane would have been a block star by now. By
Yeah,
now,
for
she
sure.
would have been in Felicia. You see how Felicia's kind of been a block star this game.
Yeah.
In a typical game, Bowie Jane would also be a block star where, hey, Bowie Jane, nobody's got nothing against you. We're gonna go ahead and put you up, and you're gonna be good. And I feel like if that would have happened, and then Cameron would have been the one person not putting her up, then she would have felt more loyalty to Cam. But I think because she got lucky this season and nobody has put her up, she mistook that for everybody likes me, everybody rocks with me, instead of realizing who her real friends were. And this is how we ended up here.
It's
So
crazy.
this is
Like, I don't really
this is
know too
crazy.
much about her motives. Like, what's her own personal motives on putting Cameron up and backdooring him? What's her own personal motives? I need to know, bro.
Well, it goes back to Cameron, unfortunately, and this is something that even us that's rooting for Cam, we have to admit, he's had a poor social game in this game. So he rubs people the wrong way for whatever reason. You know, and a lot of these people have said he always feels like he's right and things like that. So it's like he kind of had the Jared syndrome that people talked about, as far as they always think they're right. They like to hear themselves talk. So unfortunately, Cameron has that vibe, and even Bowie Jane picked up on that, but I guess she tolerated it for as long as she could.
Mhm.
But when you have four other people saying, yeah, like, isn't he a jerk? Da da da, like, she just fell victim. I feel like Bowie Jane also in this house is a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So she wants to please the house. So it's like if the majority of the house is begging, clamoring, put them up, at this point, she's just going to do it. Get the heat off me.
You think
You know
she
what I'm
got
saying?
peer pressured into putting Cameron up?
Definitely think she got peer pressured into it. And I definitely don't think she realizes that she's truly destroyed her game, because now what she's trying to do actively in the house now is she's hitching her boat to Matt and Jag. And as we can see with what Matt and Jag just did to Cam, they don't have any loyalty to anybody in this house but themselves. And Matt will throw Jag out with the bathwater as quick as possible if he needs to.
You think
I
so?
think we're looking. I think so. I think Matt is
That would be amazing to see, man. Wow, that would make for great television.
Matt really ruthless. But my only problem is everyone seems to have a blind spot when it comes to this man, Corey. Because as we speak, the last things that I've heard is that now Felicia and Cirie are trying to potentially click up with Corey in America. Which is like,
And that would be
we're
smart
never
for
gonna.
Corey in America though, because Corey in America, they know they could beat Felicia and Cirie. They know they could beat Felicia and
Oh, yeah.
Cirie.
Which probably what they're going to do, which is what I talked about earlier in the episode. They're going to now click up so that they can run the votes. So at that point, if you got, if Corey or America could win the next HOH, they run the votes at that point. We're putting up we're putting up Matt and Jag. One of y'all going home.
I will be
And then at
laughing
that
at my
point,
television, bro. That's crazy.
yeah.
Like, but honestly,
So this is why a little annoyed that they've Matt and Jag, like I thought they would, though.
yeah,
had
you
a
did predict
feeling
that. You predicted that a couple
that
episodes ago.
they would like not be able to outthink Corey as far as the 4D chess that he's playing, and they're gonna end up giving this kid the money based off of making bad decisions towards the end. And that's why I definitely think sticking with Cam and actually giving Cam a shot was probably their best bet. And they
Okay.
should have thought about the fact that there is no way that Cam would have clicked up with Corey in America.
That's true, but we low-key got to give some fault to Cameron, man. He should have got rid of Corey last week. The fact that he didn't, honestly, he sealed his own game. I want to feel bad for Cameron, but you sealed your own game. Why on earth
He did.
did Mimi leave last week instead of Corey?
Nothing of a player. Mimi was basically another version of Bowie Jane, just less annoying to people.
Yeah, like a Cameron winning
Brought
HOH.
nothing to the table.
If you would have told me Mimi would have left during Cameron's HOH last week, I would have laughed at you. But the fact that happened, man, Cameron Loki sealed his own fate right there. It's like, yo, come on. He had the right idea. He was like, yo, should I backdoor Corey? He was thinking about it. No, you should have just done it. You should have been ruthless like you've been all season, and got rid of the biggest, best player in the house at that point.
That's the move when it's just sitting there in your gut. You don't care what these people got to do. They got to move accordingly after the fact. You're the one who's HOH. You got to do what you got to do. Because if you don't do it, guess what? You still end up going home. So let this be a lesson to anybody watching if you go on this show.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go, especially when you're approaching the end game, because you might just go home the next week anyway. So while you got the power, use it.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to please them a little bit, build that trust by doing exactly what they want. Because he did say that the week before. He's like, yo, I'm in here. It's basically like y'all HOH if I win. So I kind of get it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He was just trying to build that loyalty. But it's like, come on. These people are going to go after you. You're the biggest threat in the house. Take that shot at Corey, man. Take that shot. It's crazy.
You're smart.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. But I guess that's that. I guess we'll see you guys on Thursday night when we discuss Cameron probably going home. And hopefully we get to see who wins the next HOH. And yeah.
Yes, sir. You guys, make sure you guys comment down below. How did you guys feel about this episode? How did you guys feel about the things that are coming on tomorrow episode, right? So there's an episode tomorrow, Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Is there? I'm lost on if there's.
Yeah, they changed the schedule. I'm pretty sure there's an episode tomorrow, and we just covered pretty much what's gonna happen. So you guys definitely let us know. You guys make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video, and yeah, with that being said, we are the Reality Roommates. Peace.